When many of us hear the Fall Classic, we automatically think of baseball's World Series. I'm not sure that will be the case for future generations. Yes, I'm being somewhat provocative with that line, but the WNBA Finals have arrived on the heels of what can only be described as a historic season for the league. Across a metric of statistics, it's clear that America's interest in the WNBA is at the highest point this century, in large part because of Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark. Let's start simple. Google searches. They've been higher this WNBA season, starting with the draft in April, than at any point since we've had data 2004. Searches for the WNBA are up over 300%. Compared to last season, up over 850% compared to 5 seasons ago, and have risen nearly 1,400% from a decade ago. That is, the WNBA has been rising, and this year it really took off. Caitlin Clark plays a shot during the Pro-Am prior to the John Deere Classic at TPC Deere Run in July 2023. This interest has translated into revenue for the league. Attendance is up a staggering 48% from 2023. There wasn't a single team with an average regular season home attendance of 5 figures 10,000 plus in 2023. This season, there were 6. Leading the charge was Clark's Fever. A little more than 4,000 people attended their average game in 2023, which ranked them second to last. This season, more than 17,000 did, a 319% rise that put them far and away ahead of any other WNBA team and ahead of 5 NBA teams, including. We see the same pattern in merchandise. Sales are up 600% from last year. This includes the boost from rookie sensations Clark, who had the best-selling jersey, and Angel Reese of the Chicago Sky, who had the second best-selling jersey. Indeed, the Clark-Reese rivalry helped to spur what is perhaps one of the most important metrics of success: viewership. More people tuned into the average nationally televised WNBA game this season, 657K, than in any season in the 21st century. When we focus on games involving Clark, her impact becomes clear. Nearly 1.2 million on average tuned into games including Clark's Fever, roughly 3 times the average for games without the Fever. Competitions between the Fever and Reese's Sky set league records. This included the league's most watched game in over 2 decades, which was in mid-June on CBS Sports, 2.25 million, which was itself beaten by 2.35 million tuning into an ESPN game between the two squads 2 weeks later. But arguably more important to the league is that the Clark-Reese showdowns got people to tune into channels they wouldn't otherwise. More people tuned into a blowout involving Clark and Reese at the end of August, 1.6 million, than any other game broadcast in ION history. These Sky Fever numbers actually match or exceed the average nationally televised MLB regular season game, and though the Fever have been eliminated, these WNBA playoffs have continued to break records. Game 1 of the Liberty Aces series was the most watched WNBA semifinals game in 22 years, right up until Game 3 broke that record with an audience of 994K. Last year's audience was less than half that mark. Of course, the MLB's ratings this postseason will exceed those of the WNBA, with Clark's Fever bounced from the post-CISO, but it's clear that the WNBA really has a bright future thanks to Clark and Reese. Take a look at data from Q-Scores, which help to measure the popularity of stars. More Americans know who Clark 44% is than baseball stars Aaron Judge 30%, Mike Trout 25%, or Shohei Ohtani 23%. Reese has numbers similar to those of these baseball stars, with 27% knowing who she is. An average of 21% knew who the average athlete tested was. It's not just that a lot of people know who Clark is, it's that a lot of the people who do list her as one of their favorite stars, 20%. That's significantly higher. In the average male or female athlete, 13%. Reese comes in above average to 16%. As an old friend of mine once said, entertainment rides or dies because of the stars. This year seems to have proven that old adage and suggests the WNBA has a bright future. The Indiana Fever star has been in the public eye for nearly a full year, going from her senior season at Iowa to her rookie year in Indiana in a matter of months. She hasn't had a break from high-level basketball or from people analyzing her every move for 11 months. She's taken photos with fans at the grocery store, been spotted on vacation in Mexico, gotten pictures taken of her in the airport, and has fans waiting to see her car drive out of Gainbridge Fieldhouse following games. On top of that, she talked to the media at every chance possible, sometimes multiple times a day. It can be an exhausting life, always having to be on. She's always getting asked to take pictures or sign autographs, even if it's after a tough loss or times where she's not feeling well. It's hard to balance that too, because that one picture could make a little kid's year. It's hard, but it's also something the Fever star is grateful for. She said, I try to give people time if I have it, and it can be hard because there are moments where you don't always want to pose for a picture, you just want to go and get your sandwich and eat your lunch. But I feel very thankful. I wouldn't change anything for the world. I feel very thankful for the relationships I've built, the opportunities that I've had, the way people have supported me, and whether it was at Iowa or whether it's now in the WNBA. So, after a whirlwind of a year in which she helped to sell out home and away arenas, broke the league's single-season assists record and rookie scoring record, and came fourth in MVP voting in her first season in the league, Clark will not be playing any off-season basketball. Christie's side said, "She has endured a lot this season and has handled it in the most professional way. She's grown not just as a basketball player, but as a young professional. It's not unusual for WNBA players to play some sort of basketball in the league's 6-month offseason. They go overseas to play in leagues in Turkey, China, Italy, Spain, or other European countries, or stay stateside and participate in player-led leagues like Athletes Unlimited or Unrivaled. For a long time, players went overseas to help supplement their salaries. While WNBA salaries have risen in recent years, it has long not been enough for players to support themselves, especially with agent fees, additional training, and optimal nutrition. So even high-level players like Diana Taurasi, Breanna Stewart, Alyssa Thomas, and Sue Bird went overseas where salaries are generally much higher to supplement their lives. In 2015, Taurasi made $1.5 million from UMC Ekaterinburg in Russia. Unrivaled, starting this offseason, is an 8-week 3x3 league in Miami beginning in January. Stewart and Nafisa Collier started the league as a way for top players in the WNBA to make extra money without having to go overseas, and it touts the highest salaries in women's sports and an ownership stake in the league. But with the endorsement deals Clark has, she doesn't need the extra money even if it's millions of dollars to play some basketball for a couple months. On top of her $76,000 salary from the WNBA, Clark has an 8-year, $28 million deal with Nike, which gives her $3.5 million a year from the shoe company alone. She also has deals with insurance agency State Farm, in which she appears in nationwide commercials Hy-Vee, Gatorade, Wilson, Gainbridge, Xfinity, and Buick. While the specific numbers of those deals are unknown, she likely brings in millions from those deals as well. So, Clark will be taking some much-needed time off, spending time training in Indianapolis, visiting family in Iowa, and going on vacation. She's already made some appearances in Indianapolis, attending an open practice for Butler men's basketball where her boyfriend, Connor McCaffrey, is an assistant coach, and going to the Colts Steelers game at Lucas Oil Stadium.